I don't know if everybody has seen the news or not, but opening weekend at Hersheypark was pretty chaotic. There were fights breaking out, police showed up, wolves were biting people apparently. I don't know, there's all kinds of just nuts stuff that was happening. I kept seeing a lot of news circulating online. A lot of friends sent me clips and links and news articles being like, look what happened at Hershey, look what happened. You were there opening day, did you see anything? Unfortunately, no. I did not see anything. I regret leaving so early because I would have loved to have seen a little bit of chaos in a theme park. So as a result, a lot of people out there are hounding Hershey to implement a chaperone policy, just like at other theme parks around the nation, most notably at Six Flags parks.
Chaperone policy. Hersheypark, take notice. Hersheypark, take notice. Take note, Hersheypark. Hersheypark, take notice. Hersheypark, take notice.
And all I have to say is this. There should be a chaperone policy, but it's not for who you think it should be for. But first, let me just describe to you and show you what happened.
Those screams, the aftermath of an opening day fight at Hersheypark. You can see dozens of people running through one of the park's food courts. One viewer told us it started with arguing, then chasing, leading to physical violence.
This is Chocolate Town by the entrance of the park. Police are there with flashing lights, and again, people are running towards the parking lot with police officers chasing them.
And in some situations, the news tends to sensationalize fights like this. Fight breaks out in an amusement park. That's a really good headline. You want to click on that and you want to find out what the heck's going on there. It's a little much, we'll just say that.
We asked Hersheypark about this incident, and here's what they had to say. There was an altercation between a group of teenagers in Hersheypark this evening, Friday, April 3rd. Police responded to assist park security in swiftly addressing the situation and removing those involved from the park.
One of the main incidents that occurred was, I guess, a group of kids kind of had a fight, had a quarrel, had some type of dispute, and they were running through, I think, one of the restaurants, and I heard a bunch of people saying, oh, there's kids running all over, they're jumping on tables, they're flipping over tables. It was a melee. It was a chaotic melee. So first, right? If you're a little teenage kid and you're starting fights at an amusement park and you're running through an amusement park causing trouble, you're kind of lame, okay? You're lame because you're doing it at an amusement park. It's just such a boring area to do it in. When I hear kid starts riot in theme park, right? Okay, it makes me think that you're too scared to actually go and start an altercation or like a real fight somewhere outside. Like if you're just picking fights in school and a theme park, meh, you're a little wiener boy. Okay, I said it. You're a little wiener boy. You're a sad little wiener boy. Go somewhere that it actually has a little bit more danger to it. Go to like a city somewhere and start that there. Start a little bit of a riot there. I have way more respect for you if you do it there. Some cities like Baltimore are quite dangerous, all right? And the kids that are starting fights and like flipping over tables at Hersheypark, you're a nerd. They think they're cool and they're rebellious. You're not. You're not at all. You're lame. You're lame. And this is the best thing that you can do. Like, what are you going to go to next? Like the outlet mall and like throw some trash? Ooh, so scary. You're so troubling. Maybe I'm just a little bit more cynical and I've led a rougher life. Okay. I was a troublemaker as a kid. I would kick things. I would spit. I would say bad words. I would write bad words in chalk, mind you, not in graffiti, because I'm not an anarchist. You know, bad words on the sidewalk and on the side of buildings. I'm not proud of what I did, and I've learned. And I've grown. But, you know, at the same time, you know, I was a little kid in middle school walking around downtown Baltimore and like, because my mom worked there. So, you know, during the summertime, she would bring me to work and she's like, well, I got to work in this boring office. You want to go somewhere? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, I can't go anywhere because I got to work. So you got to do it yourself. So I was like, okay. So I would walk from like downtown in the middle of the city to like the Inner Harbor and kind of like walk around and chill at the Harbor Place and like go to the mall that used to be there. And I took a couple wrong turns And at one point, I remember I ended up in the block. If you don't know what the block is, it's kids, if you're out there watching, it's a mommy and daddy's area. Okay, the block in Baltimore is there's bad stuff there. There's bad stuff on top of bad stuff and a lot of nudity. But the good news is that the block is right next to the police department. Like literally, the next street over is the police department. So, they can watch and like, oh yeah, sure. Or they can partake in some things. I'm not going to judge here. I'm not going to talk about the Baltimore police department. Either way, I have lived a questionable life. And starting a fight or a riot in a theme park is one of the lamest things that anyone can do. And if you do that, you deserve to be stuffed into a locker and your lunch money stolen. Simple as that. You're a dork. And one of the big things I heard back in the day for Six Flags America, whenever I would tell people like, oh, I go to Six Flags America every once in a while, they're like, oh my God, isn't that dangerous? Isn't that a dangerous theme park? I'm like, no. Like, what? Yeah, there's like a lot of kids that would hang out there, and but honestly, they were pretty funny and pretty cool. And, I would just kind of like walk around, and maybe because I had the camera, they'd always like jump up to me and be like, hey, can I say something to the camera? I'm like, sure, go ahead, man. What you got to say? And then they'd say something stupid or dance or whatever. Like, and I would see some, altercations here and there. I'm not saying that, that park wasn't anything like that. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, it's just kids. It's just kids being kids. Like, whatever.
He's my favorite guy. You're so good.
Fright Fest was amazing, mainly because it was a great people watching experience. And I miss that Halloween event so bad at that theme park. I mean, there's so many crazy, great performers there, as well as just the kids would scream and go nuts, and it would just make me laugh so much. Really, this one little boy lives rent-free in my head. And that, don't think of it like that, okay? Take your mind out of the gutter. He just said something funny, and it makes me laugh.
If you get scared, don't scream.
Don't scream.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good. If you get scared.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Bazinga.
Bazinga?
The child yelled bazinga and then ran away from the camera, which is one of the greatest exits a person has ever made on video, ever. That kid is a comedic mastermind. I don't know whatever happened to him, but I mean, he's got a career in comedy. It really upsets me that, they didn't have one final Fright Fest at that park. These kids deserved it, because my gosh, it was just fun. It was just fun. It was a fun event, fun, chaotic event. Was it for everybody? Definitely not. Was it for me? Yes. And that's what's important. That's what's important to me. Now, having said that, yes, Six Flags America has had a questionable past with children taking over Fright Fest. I believe a couple years ago, there was a big event. There was a big event, and a lot of bad stuff happened.
I've talked to some who were there on Saturday night, and they tell me many of these people you see fighting were 14 and 15 years old. They say they don't know what led up to this, especially because it's multiple different fights.
Events like this has happened in other Six Flags adjacent parks across the nation. I get it. I understand why Six Flags has implemented a chaperone policy. It makes sense. But at the same time, I feel like these type of occurrences and events are few and far between. Have they died down as a result of the chaperone policy? Probably. But getting back to Hersheypark. I love talking about Six Flags America. I talk about Six Flags All America all the time. Let's talk about Hersheypark. Hersheypark had the problem. So we had teens running around causing trouble. Yeah, I get it. That's a problem. The park was packed. So there's just a lot going on that weekend. I think it was like spring break on top of opening day weekend. So of course, a lot of incidents are going to happen. When a lot of people get together, guess what? Things are going to go down because some people are just garbage. Some people are just dumb. Case in point, The 3 people that got arrested were 2 juveniles and 1 adult. So here's my solution. Will Hersheypark ever implement a chaperone policy? Probably not, because that will hurt their bottom line. Less teenagers coming into the park will mean less money for them. And, parents can't always go to the park with kids all the time. So will they get them annual passes? Probably not. And it will hurt Hersheypark at the end of the day. I don't think they're ever going to do a chaperone policy like that. So here's a chaperone policy they should do. Let me zoom in on this. We got to get close on this one, guys. That's too close. That's better. Let me check my focus. Hold on. Here's the chaperone policy they should do. Every single incident that I have ever seen at a theme park, whether it's a fight or arguments or nasty boy, nasty woman attitude, have been the result of a middle-aged person. The 2 incidents that I have seen at Hersheypark, literally, I've captured them on film, video. Nasty man said a homophobic slur at me as I was walking into the park filming. Got a Hersheypark hat. That was one of the first things I heard that day, which is wild. Another time, I was walking along talking about something stupid, as I normally do, because I'm always talking about stupid things. A very, very drunk woman who reeked of cigarettes shouted in my ear something and in the camera, and then walked away and
Why'd you do that?
I've heard arguments with fathers arguing with other fathers arguing with their kids, arguing with their wives. They always have a bad attitude. Oh, the line is long. I had to drive so long to get here. The kids need this. The kids need that. They're always in a bad mood. Always in a bad mood when they go to these theme parks. I had to spend so much money. I had to take time off from work. I have to spend time with this family that I don't really love or want. I just want to go golf or do something stupid. I want to stay at home and watch football. We should implement a chaperone policy for middle-aged men. You are not allowed in this park without a chaperone of some kind. Whether it is your parent, you go drag them out from the old folks' home and drag them to the park and be like, I'm sorry, Dad or Mom, you need to watch me because I'm a stupid, immature adult. Your wives can't be trusted in this situation because they just will make the problem worse, or they could also be a problem themselves. So guess what? Bring their parents along with them too. They need to be watched, is what I'm saying. These adults in the park, middle-aged adults, need to be watched in Hersheypark. I'm not joking about this. They are nothing but trouble. And they are itching for a fight. They're looking for a fight. Because the 3 people that were arrested at Hersheypark, 2 juveniles, 1 adult. So this adult, I have a feeling, right? I don't know the full story. I'm just guessing here. That guy was looking for a fight that day, and he couldn't pick a fight with someone his own age because he would have gotten his butt kicked, and he knew that. So he's like, I got to take this aggression out on somebody. My family's been nagging at me all day. And the problem with a lot of these type of dudes, okay, they all have like a little police officer in their head, and they think that they need to enforce the rules. And you saw the kids running around doing something stupid. Maybe the kid knocked into his wife, or bumped into the stroller as they were running away from whatever else they were doing. And the father was like, I'm going to get me some kid today. Every other fight online that I typically see at a theme park, at Disney World, for example, the happiest place on earth, or the most magical place on earth, whatever the heck it's called, I always forget. And everyone always gets up my rear end on the comments, like, oh no, it's this and that. Whatever it is, the happiest magical place on earth in Florida, the Florida one, the big stinky one that I actually really like. I do like Disney World, but I digress. I like Animal Kingdom. So, in the Jungle Cruise, for example, here's a fight right here. Oh look, here's another fight right in front of the front gate where you take pictures. Huh, look at that. I've seen countless police videos of police going into the parks and arresting various people, most of them, guess what, middle-aged adults. Or do you see a theme here?
out.
Are you threatening me now?
No.
Watch where you're going.
Have anything on you that's gonna hurt me, poke me, cut me? Can I say? Back up over there. Now, get out of my face. Can you let me go?
Some guests reported he was running over other people with his child's stroller in the lobby. And he was calling some of them vulgar names and using racial slurs. A deputy said he threatened him with violence and told him Donald Trump was going to kill him.
Here's one article. This is quite funny. As many as 30 people could face charges in Hersheypark opening day fights. Quote, we are estimating that as many as 30 people could be involved in the incidents of fighting or disorderly conduct that day, but we will not know the exact number until we conclude the investigation. Disorderly conduct and harassment and more serious charges such as simple assault and inciting a riot could be filed. Really? Inciting a riot at a theme park? Okay, that's a little disturbing. Hersheypark visitors react to opening day brawl. Quote, we traveled all the way from California, excited to go to this amusement park that we've heard so much about. But we're hearing that there's some problems with safety and kids fighting. When it's a family place, that's a little disturbing. Grow a set, Anne. Yeah, Hersheypark, real dangerous place. Witnesses described dozens of people running through a food court. One viewer said she was shoved and pushed over in the chaos. Shove them back. Quote, I don't think this is a common occurrence, said Derry Township Police Chief Garth Warner. We've seen it before, and it really kind of ebb and flows each year. There are some years there are no noted incidents of having these type of fights happen. I've been to Hersheypark countless times, right? Again, the only incidents that I've seen occur not between kids. It's usually the adult males. Yes, I am an adult male. I am a middle-aged adult male. Sadly, I'm not young anymore. I'm an old man. And if a chaperone policy was implemented for adult males at Hershey, that would affect me, but not really, because this make it so it doesn't affect people named Kenny Johnson. If you do implement a chaperone policy, be like chaperone policy, but not for Kenny Johnson. I'm one of the cool ones, is basically what I'm saying. I don't need a chaperone. This is real talk now. So Hershey, if you are listening, do a chaperone policy, but not for people named Kenny Johnson. Do it for other people. Now stop listening. Don't listen to this part. I'm going to zoom in even further. Okay. If Hershey does the chaperone policy for adult males, guess what? I have a feeling that they're going to be like, oh, I don't want to go. It's too much work. I got to get my dad or my mom to come with me. They're like in 80 or 90. And then I got to deal with the kids too and the wife. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. And they can stay home and fight and yell at their kids and, spit on their wife. I don't know, whatever they do. They can stay home. And guess what? That's gonna free up the park. There's going to be a lot less people going to the park, meaning that the lines aren't going to be as crazy anymore, meaning I can ride more stuff. That's the real plan with this. So yes, implement a chaperone policy. Don't worry about the kids. I'll handle the kids. I'll handle the kids, Hershey, okay? You let me handle the kids. I'll take care of them. You handle the adults. And when I say handle the kids, don't make this weird. Don't make this weird, people, okay? Just Hershey, let me beat up the kids if need be. God, this is all kinds of problems. That's like a assault. I don't know. I'm the cool one, right? We gotta do something about this park being too crowded. There's way too many freaking people in your freaking theme park, Hershey. Okay. I know I told you not to listen, but you're probably listening. Here's a phenomenal comment somebody left that accurately describes Hersheypark. Went yesterday, and the first thing I said was, quote, you'll love Hershey as long as your favorite ride is the line. That's good. And I told him I'm going to steal that. And guess what? I just did. And I will credit you. But Hershey, come on, we got to kick out some of these adults in here. It goes back to the cigarette smell too. They come on. Seriously, everybody in PA smells like cigarettes. I don't know what is with that. Seriously, what is with that? Okay, so now getting back to it. We're zoomed out now. Hershey, you can start listening again. I solved the chaperone problem. Also, a wolf apparently bit a kid at their Zoo America. I don't know how that happened.
Police say that the parents were just about 25 feet away at a bench sitting on their phones while their child was, going into that space there and crawling through that fence.
I guess like little kid like crawled somewhat under a fence or got close enough to the fence the wolf could kind of reach in, maybe give him a little nibble, which who cares? A wolf is a glorified dog at the end of the day, okay? That would have been the coolest thing that ever happened to me. If I was a little kid, if a wolf bit me, are you kidding me? I would have gone to school the next day and be like, guess what, guys? I have wolf superpowers now because a wolf bit me. Or I could be like, I survived a wolf attack. A wolf tried to eat me. Don't worry, I survived. No big deal. How cool would that be? That's an instant bragging rights, okay? I'm sorry, I did kind of make a joke in the last video. I'm like, I think more people deserve to be bit by animals.
I don't care if she bites somebody. I think that, I think people deserve to be bit, in my opinion, because I think there's way too many confident people out there who like to mess with animals.
So I said that day, the opening day I was at Hershey's. So I didn't know that was going to happen. Had I known, I would have gone to Zoo America and been like, hey, little kid, move out of the way. I'm going to let this wolf bite me because I will say I survived a wolf attack. How badass is that? I just want to also say that in America, right, in North America, we don't even keep track of wolf attacks because they don't happen. So anyway, where were the parents in this situation? That's a great question. Maybe they were brawling with teenagers because that's what parents do at Hersheypark. Or they yell in people's ear or say homophobic slurs at random people filming themselves. So I just fixed the chaperone policy. You're welcome, Hersheypark. You can credit me for that. But the chaperone policy should not affect me. If it does, I don't want the chaperone policy. Take it away. Do a chaperone policy for the kids, because get those freaking kids out of here, is what I'm saying. We got to cut down on the crowds at Hershey, is what I'm saying.